I don't know about you guys, but breakfast is definitely my favorite meal of the day. I often go to bed thinking about what I'm gonna eat for breakfast the next morning. I love it so much. And while I usually eat the same thing every morning because I'm a busy mom of two and I want to spend my mornings doing other things, this week I ended up switching it up. We had an anniversary to celebrate, a birthday to celebrate, so you'll see everything from sweet to savory vegan breakfast, including my all-time favorite recipe for Rosemary chocolate chunk scones. So I hope you stay tuned for that, but let's start with Monday, the day we celebrated my daughter's 4th birthday. So usually when I make pancakes, I often make them in a 9x13-inch pan and call it pancake bake or sheet pan pancakes, because that way I don't have to stand by the stove and flip every pancake. But on special occasions, we love to make some skillet pancakes. They're just fun and traditional and delicious. So this week I made my pumpkin pancakes from my blog and added some chocolate chips to some, made some way too big.
Oh man, Harper, I made a big pancake. I need the big spatula. It's that big. Oh man. Can I flip it? I need 2 spatulas. 'Cause Mama just 1, 2, 3. We did it. We flipped it. We did it. We flipped it. We did it. Yeah.
But they definitely hit the spot. I had about 2 large pancakes, and I almost always add banana, maple syrup, and cacao chips or chocolate chips to my pancakes because it just tastes better that way. So here I'm adding some sliced banana, some real pure maple syrup. That's the way to go. Even though I grew up on Aunt Jemima, I love pure maple syrup, and that's what we use in my family. So this was a delicious breakfast that everyone enjoyed, including the birthday girl and her brother. Mama! Tuesday is a breakfast that I have usually most mornings, and that's chocolate overnight oats with some protein powder in it. So the night before, I soaked half a cup of oats, a tablespoon of chia seeds, a scoop of protein powder, and some non-dairy milk in the fridge overnight. And then it's thickened and delicious the next morning, and I usually pour it into another bowl so I can add lots more toppings, including natural peanut butter, blueberries, which I'm currently obsessed with, and some cacao chips. Oh yeah, and walnuts. I love adding crunchy things to my creamy oats. It just makes them so much better. My favorite savory breakfast is definitely tofu scramble on a homemade bagel. I have been making so many homemade bagels recently to update an old blog post, and you should definitely check out my homemade bagel recipe that uses all whole wheat flour. It is amazing, has over 100 positive reviews, so definitely check it out. I wanted to make some tofu scramble to go along with my rosemary salt bagel, and so here I am just toasting or sauteing some scrambled tofu in a pan, and then I add turmeric for color mostly. This just adds a nice yellow eggy color. Add some garlic powder and some salt and pepper, and that's about it. Usually I would add nutritional yeast, but I haven't had any on hand for a while, so we're just using what we got. I let this toast and get kind of crispy in parts before spooning it over my bagel. So here I have one of my homemade bagels, and I saw some chive cream cheese at the store the other day and decided to try it out. Sadly, it wasn't my favorite, but when you pair it with a homemade bagel and some tofu scramble, it tastes pretty good. So I just spread a thin layer of the cream cheese on my toasted bagel, added the tofu scramble, and this is a great egg substitute if you love eggs or want to stop eating as many. Definitely try out some tofu scramble. Next up, I made some pumpkin baked oatmeal for one. I need to make a whole nother video on single serving baked oatmeal. Definitely like this video if you want to see that, because I love switching up the flavor for my baked oatmeal. So today I just put in some quick oats, pumpkin pie spice or cinnamon, whatever you have on hand, some salt, baking powder into a bowl and stirred that well. Next, I added my liquid ingredients, including some vanilla extract, pure pumpkin puree, a little bit of maple syrup, and some non-dairy milk. This ended up being way too small of a portion, so I doubled it, but you're just gonna stir all of these ingredients together before pouring them into a greased ramekin. I love to use a 2-cup Pyrex dish. I find they work great for the size of baked oatmeal I like to enjoy, but I'm sure there are other ramekins that you can find that would work great as well. As always, I love to have chocolate whenever possible, so I added some cacao chips on top before baking this in the oven at 350 until I remembered to take it out, to be honest. I feel like whether you underbake it or overbake it, it really doesn't matter. It'll just be more moist in the middle or more dry. So take it out after 20 to 40 minutes and I'm sure it will be fine. As always, I always love to start my morning not only with chocolate but with natural peanut butter, so I added a big dollop of that as well as some fresh blueberries, and that was my breakfast. Next up is another savory recipe that includes my homemade bagels yet again. This time I'm basically making a protein-packed avocado toast, so I started with some white beans that I had left over in my fridge. I just mashed those until they were mostly smooth before adding in some avocado, and again just mashed all of this together until you have a mostly smooth mixture with some beans remaining, and then you're just gonna season this with some lemon or lime juice, salt and pepper, garlic if you have it on hand, and it's just a great way to add some protein to your avocado toast. So once I had a smooth mixture, I toasted my bagel, put that on a plate, and then smeared a pretty thick layer of the avocado bean mixture onto my toast. It doesn't look great, but it tastes amazing and is a great way to start your day. Of course, I love black pepper, so I added quite a bit more on top, and this was my breakfast.
Okay, can you put them in?
So this morning I had one sick kid and one fussy kid, so we were just trying to get some food in our bellies. One of my kids' favorite foods is banana ice cream or really thick smoothies or smoothie bowl, whatever you want to call it. So we were making some chocolate peanut butter banana ice cream, which I think I ended up making thinner into a smoothie so they could just drink it out of a straw. But we are adding some frozen banana. It tastes amazing on its own, but makes the greatest, creamiest smoothies and ice cream. So we added some frozen banana, peanut butter, and cocoa powder to a food processor. If you don't have a high-speed blender, but you have a food processor, I find food processors work so well for making thick smoothies and banana ice cream. So I added a little bit more liquid to make it a thick smoothie consistency, but both of my kids loved this smoothie so much, and it definitely helped turn the mood around.
Hi. Hi. You want some?
Both called it from the beginning. Called it. We knew that they had to be nice.
I did. Is that Hudson? Hi. Hi. You drink your smoothie?
Hi.
Hi. Say yes.
If you guys are still watching this video, I am so glad because you have made it to my favorite recipe, maybe of all time, which is for rosemary chocolate chunk scones. So to a bowl, I'm adding some flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. And then I use some fresh rosemary, pull it off of the stem, and mince it pretty finely. You could add as little or as much as you want, but a good amount makes these taste amazing. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it's so good. Stir all these dry ingredients together before you add in some hardened coconut oil. If you live in a cold environment and your coconut oil is already hard, don't worry about sticking it in the fridge or freezer or anything. You just want to use your hands to break it up into little sand-like pieces and disperse it all throughout your flour mixture. I've tried this so many ways using a pastry chopper, whatever you call that thing, a fork and a knife, but I find my hands work great and make the best scones. So that's what I did here before adding in some really big chocolate chips that were dark chocolate and dairy-free, and just stirred that into the mixture. Next, I added some non-dairy milk, yet again stirred it until a dough formed. Usually I make scones with only white flour, but this day I did a little bit of whole wheat flour also, so I needed to add a little bit more non-dairy milk. Finally, I got this nice thick dough, which I formed into a large disc on my baking sheet. I love to use these silicone baking mats. It just makes the scones super easy to bake and easy to remove once they're baked. I just chop them into 8 large triangles, and then I separate them so that they're not touching each other and have plenty of space to expand in the oven. Then I just bake these at about 400 for 18 to 20 minutes, or until they're nice and puffy and crisp and golden brown on the top and bottom. Usually I don't glaze these, but because we were celebrating an anniversary, we decided to make some glaze.
All right, we gotta add some sugar to our sugar.
Hey, you said sugar to our sugar. I got the sword in the seal.
Do you want to help me pour this?
Yeah.
There we go.
Then now we need some milk.
Yeah. Guys, don't touch it.
No.
Don't touch it! Don't touch it! No!
Oh, yeah.
Teaching the things. What are you doing? Okay, can you hold this like that?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pour a little on the spoon so I know. Okay, now start stirring, because a little bit.
Can I try a little of the glaze? I can try a little of the glaze with this scoopy straw.
Oh my goodness. You can stick the end of that into the glaze and lick it off if you would like.
Yeah.
Yeah, put some glaze on a few of them. Are we in our PJs with crazy bedhead?
So we ended up getting out some fancy china teacups and having these scones as a family with some hot tea and some fruit on the side, and it was a great end of the week. Next, be sure to check out my other week of vegan breakfast video, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!